Hey guys, Alex Bianchi here with Define Wisdom, and this is the Minds of Tomorrow podcast. Today's episode is going to be with Philip Pages. He's a 21-year-old entrepreneur running an e-commerce store out of his office in Texas. It is not dropshipping. We do go over that. This podcast is, again, extremely conversational. I'm going to try and turn the podcast into more of an interview format instead of just me having a more personal conversation with a bunch of guests. But today's podcast is, again, more conversational, although it was phenomenal, to be honest. He's another extremely intelligent, young, intuitive entrepreneur, and I wish him the best. So while I'm here, if you could leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video, all of that stuff helps out the channel. I want to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And if you have any questions for me or Philip throughout this process, then leave a comment, and I can either forward them to him or he can respond to them himself. Let's just jump into this one, guys. Hope you enjoy.
So what's your business? Like, tell me about that. Just like, who are you?
Yeah. So, I guess to start, I'll rewind back to kind of where I started to, I guess, as a kid. So I was always kind of entrepreneurial when I grew up, when I was a kid. My parents are both immigrants. So I know you have an immigrant dad. You said my dad came from Cuba. My mom came from the Czech Republic. So that's always been something that I've been very in tune with. My dad actually runs his own consulting company. So I always knew that I wanted to kind of run my own business. So I always grew up watching him in Miami. And we actually had coconut trees when I was a kid. So I'd grow up, cut the coconuts off the trees and then go sell them door to door or just kind of different people. And then also lemonade stands, car washes, that sort of thing. As a kid then we moved to Texas when I was in middle school and high school. I actually traded stocks for a little while. I got really into that. I was like day trading and paper trading and all that, but wasn't very good. So I used up basically all the money I'd earned and put it into stocks. Didn't do very well. And I was kind of looking for an alternative method to fund my stock trading. So that's kind of where I came in with the e-commerce. I just started researching. It was kind of 2015, 2016 when that started. Tried a couple different businesses. I know I tried like rollerblade wheels for your office chairs so that those don't get scratched. Like the floors don't get scratched. I tried like a protein bar company, party supply company. None of that really worked. So I had a couple failed businesses. And then I also started a like tactical outdoor gear type company. And that fortunately did work. We started with, my first order was like $188. Then I doubled it to $400, then $800 and kind of grew it that way. And the business has grown without any outside funding. None of my parents' money. It was all kind of just my own money and building it. But yeah, we do like custom design, tactical gear, outdoor gear, sunglasses, bags, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's been going for, this is our 5th year in business now. So it's been a wild ride for sure. And I have similar aspirations. Like I want to build an 8-figure, 9-figure and above company. I want to just do a lot of different things that I guess the normal average person thinks is kind of outside of their grasp. So I kind of resonate with what you were talking about there. But yeah, I know, very driven to kind of just like make it happen. And that's kind of where I'm at in 2 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm. So it's not drop shipping, because I feel like I see too many boxes behind you for it to be drop shipping.
No, so that's all actually foam. That's all foam for our packaging. We have inventory. We do all that. And I get that question a lot. Like, are you drop shipping? It's like, no. Drop shipping is kind of, in my opinion, the get rich quick scheme.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm gonna probably be making more TikTok videos about it, but it really frustrates me when you see a YouTube video of someone that's like, oh yeah, I just did $1 million on my first year in Shopify and come buy my course. Like, well, first off, it's pretty easy to fake your numbers on Shopify. Mm-hmm. Like if you know anything about Shopify, you can just create orders and make them look like real numbers when it's not real. Not to say everyone does that, but I think a good number, or I think people have done that before. Mm-hmm. Also, the other side of that is any business is going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. The fact they're saying, oh, this is super easy, you're going to make money right away. Like, you may make money, but there's a good chance you won't. Mm-hmm. So I don't like that level of dishonesty with kind of the drop shipping guru model right now. Mm-hmm. And then there's also these stores, like they'll peak and then drop off really quickly. So you'll see them, oh, I made $1 million, but like, look at the numbers. They peaked maybe like one time, and then the store's dead. Like, so you just spent 6 months trying to build this store. You made some money, but 3 years from now, this store is going to be long gone and dead. Like, that's kind of what I don't really get about it. So if you're going to be investing in a brand long term, if you're going to be putting on all this work to do the branding, the product and everything, why not kind of make a custom designed product or something unique to you so you can have a brand, a sellable asset 3, 4, 5 years from now? So it's kind of like dropshipping is the very short term, get rich quick, and all the money is made in the courses. Like, courses are 100% margin or almost 100% margin. Yeah. Like, if they're selling $1,000 course, they're probably netting like $900 on it. Which, if you're selling a product, you're getting it for 20, and then maybe you're selling it for 80, but then you have $50 in ad cost. Like, there's like, the model is not something I really resonate with, and I think more people need to be speaking kind of, I guess, the truth about what business is actually like. And I'm not a huge fan of the dropshipping model. I mean, that's the AliExpress dropshipping model, or like the import from China, because it's also like a 6 to 12 week ship time. Like, I don't think it's going to be around much longer, just because customers are getting smarter about the whole. They don't want to wait 12 weeks. But dropshipping has been around forever. I mean, Zappos started as a dropship model. So like domestic dropshipping, that's a business model. But dropshipping is a business model. It's not a business. So it's not like a dropshipping business. It's a model of it. There's private label. There's custom design. There's all kinds of different business models. But I think the e-commerce business style of dropshipping from AliExpress, 6 to 12 weeks, you get your product, terrible customer experience and all that. I don't think that's going to be around much longer. And we'll be on to the next get rich quick. Because first it was FBA, Amazon FBA. That switched to dropshipping, and now whatever the next flavor of the month is going to be, we'll find out soon enough.
Like, to me, it's because my stepbrother, who I'm very close with, but he was like, with drop shipping, and I'm like, it's a get rich quick scheme, and he was like, no, like, I could tell he was like in the middle of a sales funnel. And like, to me, to want to build the business that they advertise is to be in business for the wrong reasons. Like, the reason that I want a business is I look at the CEO executive life, and that's like, that drives me. I'm like, I want that life. I want my personal assistant with like the president on the line. Like, I want do all this stuff. And then e-commerce, it's like just making money. It's almost like you opened up like a food franchise. You don't open up one franchise and then call yourself like a successful entrepreneur. It's like you can do things with that, and you might be able to sell opening a franchise to some random Joe Schmo who's gonna maybe make a decent living, but it's never gonna be building like this awesome thing. And that's why I'm attracted to business. It's like, let's build awesome shit.
And that's kind of touching on that point. So the current AliExpress dropshipping model doesn't even really add value to the customer. That same customer could order that same exact product from AliExpress directly for $5 and get it in 12 weeks, but instead they're paying $50 because they saw a Facebook ad and are now getting it from AliExpress in 12 weeks. So if you're not adding value anywhere in the supply chain of the business, then you don't have a business long term. Like, it's not going to be around. Like, there's no value add. Everyone's just selling the exact same product. Some of them might not have even seen the product. They're just, I want this, ship it here, and we're good to go. Like, there's no value being added. You're not building a long-term asset. It's more of just a short-term money grab, in my opinion. And it just, I don't think it's sustainable to build a long-term business. I think some people may be able to build a business around it if they're constantly finding new products and stuff. But I think the vast majority is going to find that it's not a successful endeavor. And I think one of the biggest tricks they've played is making people think that they're running a business where they're just selling them a course. So the gurus make everyone think they're running the business, where they're the person being sold the course is actually the product for the course. So
it's like the business
model. I have a lot to
say. yeah, I could talk about it forever too. It's like the business model is, I'm gonna teach you how to do this. You're gonna make $100,000, and then you're gonna make a course, and then you're gonna sell that course, and then by the time you're selling that course, I've already taken the money from my course, and I'm moving on to the next trend.
It's for sure. Like, it's insane, and I don't know. I think I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I think we've kind of. I don't have an issue with courses.
Neither do I. I've taken two. I might take three. Like I'm
Yeah,
thinking
I've
about
taken
one
a
right
ton
now.
of courses. But like I have no issue with advanced learning, but I think almost everything they're teaching you in those like advanced drop shipping courses can be found online.
Mm-hmm.
Like when everyone says, "Oh, you need a course to start your business," like no,
Yeah.
there's so much information out there. Just research and Google and everything. That's why it kind of frustrates me when people are coming on and saying, like DMing me saying, "Hey, how do you start your business?" It's like I'm happy to help, but if you're not taking the initiative to like research, oh, I want to do e-commerce. Okay, who am I going to research within e-commerce? Like I'm happy to give resources, but if there's no follow through, like no one's going to handhold you to start the business. Everyone wants the magic bullet to the magic blueprint, but there's so many ways to start a business that like it's very difficult. Like my path is not going to be the same as your path. Who's not going to be the same as the guy you just interviewed, your stepbrother. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
so many different ways to do it, and like my situation is going to be different from your situation. So there's some general principles, but it's pretty difficult to give like a step by step by step. And anyone that says they have that for you, I'd be a little bit hesitant and wary on.
Yeah, like I took a YouTube course by Graham Stephan. He's massive. Have you seen him? He's
I'm
like
gonna write that down.
Graham Stephan Stephan, and it's not expensive. I got it for like $300 on sale. And I personally wasn't happy for it because I have been a YouTube geek since I could show you a YouTube video of me at 12 years old and I'm talking into the mic. Like, it's horrible. It's horrendous. But I've just always loved YouTube as a platform and the video production. So I kind of already knew everything. But if someone was looking to start a YouTube channel, like if you're looking to start one, then I'd say, yeah, that course answers all your questions. Like it'll get you good at YouTube SEO and stuff. And then the other course I took, I actually bought from someone. I bought from one of the guests that I had on this podcast. I had a dude who's making $100,000 a year right now, doing social media with a social media marketing agency. And he sold me for like $100 one of his courses, and it was actually pretty good. It was all about Facebook ads, and I did learn a lot. So yeah, like I was happy with that. I would not have paid the sticker price. He was asking, I think, $2,000 for it. I got it for $100, and then I was like, "Wait, you paid $2,000 for it?" And the dude was like, "No, the course used to be $500. I don't know why it's $2,000 now." Like, it's good information. It's not that good though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're starting and you think that you need a course, though, like just know that there's so much information out there. Like I'm happy to point people in the right direction for resources. But don't think you need to pay $2,000 for a course. It's almost like you can get all the baseline information that you need to get going. And once you need advancement in, say, Facebook ads, then buy a specific course targeted for Facebook ads that's for advanced, like scaling PPC spend past a certain amount. Like that's what you paid for. But I mean, for the beginner courses, I don't think you necessarily need it. And there's a lot of free information out there to just Google and YouTube. Like, it's crazy. It's all free.
Even Skillshare. Like, I have a Skillshare account. It's like $20 a month, and it's a bunch of courses. They're not all the highest quality, but in my if I take one course from Skillshare a month, then that's good enough. That's like the value there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's interesting.
Also Udemy. Udemy is really good too.
Yeah.
Like $10. Like I took a Google Ads course for like $10, and it's still updating content today. Like he's making new videos. Like that's a good investment. But a $2,000 course, like,
yeah,
you don't need
it. Yeah, right. Like right now, my thing is social media marketing, and it's so oversaturated. Like, cause I actually read every one of Gary Vaynerchuk's books and did a bunch of research, and then I realized, like, wait a second, this is a business model too. I thought I was just a geek who liked social media analytics. And then I was like, wait, this is a business model. And then I was like, I can start a business. Then I was like, oh wow, this is like really saturated. But I do have because I've worked for a bunch of people. My family has 3 businesses, local businesses, and I used to work for a landscaping company. So I'm talking with all parties involved there about maybe running their Facebook ads. And that's a way that I basically want to replace my part-time job right now as a server and just get something that I can both do from like a dorm room potentially next semester, and also just on my own terms, because I really hate working for my stepfather. Like working for the person as like a server, like it's very like hands-on, like it's just like $15 an hour, basic stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I know I'm only 18. I got to be humble, but I can do something at least a little bit special.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't generate money with YouTube probably for another year because you can't turn on monetization. But that is what it is. So, but for you and your business, you sell tactical gear. You said.
Yeah.
I looked at a couple of your things, and what's that model like? Are you buying things from like Alibaba and then getting them changed, like tweaking those from the factory over there, getting them shipped, doing all everything? Or
So currently, I mean, it's a lot of there's a lot of complexity to that question, just because we do sell so many different products.
mm-hmm,
But the tactical side is mostly USA made.
mm-hmm,
So I think almost everything that we sell there is American made. Um, so that's all of our own custom designs. We have a manufacturing partner or that we work with out of California, and then a couple other people just throughout the U.S. But that's all U.S. made metals and things like that, and just USA made raw materials and custom designs and all things that we've kind of made ourselves. So that was a challenge, and I could go further into that on my own for a while. But then we also have the gear side, which is also like bags and sunglasses, and those are also kind of our own custom designs and things like that. But those are made out of Taiwan or Vietnam or wherever that particular country is best at manufacturing those products. We've tracked down the best manufacturers kind of in the industry, and are now kind of partnering up with them and working with them. So product quality is just definitely one of the priorities. But for getting started, I definitely think going to Alibaba, finding someone, making some slight adjustments, improvements, I think that's definitely a viable option. But kind of like for the next tier, if you want to work with like the best manufacturers, you kind of got to track them down and figure out how to find those.
yeah, that makes sense. I almost went to Alibaba. I was gonna I got permission to print my school logo on hydro flasks, which I didn't realize how wide the margins on hydro flasks were. So I was like, oh wow.
Did you see that TikTok video?
Yeah, I think I did find it on TikTok. It went to the website, the direct supplier for
Yeah.
Hydro Flask and all that. Well, I found basically the same thing on Alibaba, and I almost did it, and then I was like, but that's a lot of work, and I don't really wanna, because it all said and done, I was gonna make like a few $100, and I was like, yeah, but I also really don't like the kids in my high school, so I'm not gonna do that. But I'm also putting a ton of time into YouTube. Like it's also like, for me, if I could choose something to become successful, I'd say, oh, my YouTube channel, because I love it. But then I want to be the executive. What's your plan right now? How do you advertise? Do you do Facebook ads or pay-per-click? What's your strat there?
Yeah, I mean, we've done and tested everything from Google ads, Facebook ads, influencer marketing, YouTube influencer marketing, email, everything. Like SEO, all that stuff. I mean, we found certain things that worked, and what I've realized is that, particularly for Facebook ads, some products work well with Facebook ads, some of them don't. I've learned that by spending a lot of money unprofitably. So learning from that kind of failure, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I mean, we do everything. Right now, what's really working well for us is for one of the businesses, one side of the business, the tactical side is more of like the SEO stuff, working with affiliates and influencers and YouTube guys and that sort of thing. That's working very well. And then the gear side, we're testing a little bit more of an Amazon strategy, trying to crack that code. We're making some good progress on that side, but Amazon is an entirely new beast altogether. So definitely trying to figure that out and figure out what's going on with that. But yeah, we do kind of, I can talk about kind of all the different channels pretty in depth, I guess, just because I've been in it for 4 years now.
Yeah. Well, first off, what's the name? Because it's actually hard to find from your TikTok or Instagram. Like, what's the exact name of the business? Like a website that I can go to?
Yeah, so the gear side is STNGR, so Stinger, EDGE.com. So that's the gear, the bags, and the sunglasses, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
STNGR?
Yeah, like Stinger without the vowels.
STNGR. Stinger.
Yeah, so we've made sunglasses that you can kind of like run over with a truck,
Okay.
are just super durable, backed by lifetime warranty. Just kind of I think we've even shot him with a shotgun before, so that was pretty cool.
How big is the company right now?
In terms of
how many people?
staff?
What's your employee? Yeah, how many employees do you have?
So it's me. So I actually ran the business for the first. I started it a year later. My dad kind of came in, so he has a minority stake. My sister's full time. My other sister works part time, and then we use a lot of different like freelancers and kind of like I don't know if you've read the 4 Hour Work Week, but just using more of an outsourced type thing. So we have different like people working with us on Upwork and just different platforms. So I'd say maybe like 8 to 10, just people kind of working to some degree in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my microphone just fell off its stand, so I guess I'm holding this for the rest of the thing.
All right, just like a news reporter.
Yeah. All right, so 8 to 10, and then what's yours? How do you plan on scaling? Just more, because it's just more products, more advertising. Figure out what works. 4 Hour Work Week, Pareto principle, that all day, every day.
Yeah, I mean to an extent. So my ambition obviously isn't to like create a lifestyle business where I'm sitting on the beach and just kind of hanging out. I have more ambition, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. The ambition to be more, to grow the business. So yeah, definitely new products is kind of a big focus, because whenever you have new products, then you can have more of the repeat purchase rate and all that fun stuff kind of comes into play. But yeah, so just launching more products and figuring out the right advertising channel, because once we figure out the exact one that's working well for us that we can actually scale and double down on, and that's kind of one of the things that I think we're going to be focusing a lot on, because right now influencers are working well for us, but it's sometimes hard to scale influencers. So yeah.
If you're ever looking for a 271 subscriber influencer, might be a little bit small to start working with.
We'd have to see what the audience overlap is on that.
Yeah. My speaking of my stepbrother, he has a shark fishing Instagram with almost 1,000 followers right now that I convinced him to start after reading Gary's books. I was like, because I don't have a hobby that's easy to put on YouTube. Like, I used to play Magic the Gathering, if you know what that is. It's like an old card game with a pretty big following. I kind of got out of that mainly because it is so expensive. But other than that, I don't have my hobby is like, I like reading and social media marketing and business research and YouTube, and that's all great. But at the same time, I can't make a brand out of that without kind of also having something to back it up. So it's hard for me to niche down. As opposed to my stepbrother, I was like yelling at him, dude, you love shark fishing. Like reel them in, tag them for research, release them, make an Instagram about that. And he's already gotten like some dropshipper sent him knives. He thought that was cool. He was like, apparently shark fishing itself has its own fishing supplies, but because it's such a small niche, the second he got like 500 followers, everyone knew who he was, and now he's growing really fast. So it's like I wish, but yeah, he does that. He does the rugged thing. Not that he's very large. But yeah, that's awesome. So how old are you? You sound, or the story you just told makes me think you're older than I thought you were.
I'm 21.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's give or take it. Mm-hmm. So I'm
yeah.
18.
So I started at 17 in high school. Been at it for about 4 years now. This is the 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
Skipped college.
Okay.
Running the business full time, just been learning, hiring, dealing with lots of different things, but it's been an education in the school of hard knocks. So for sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, was anyone, when you had the business and you were looking at college, what was that like? Was it successful enough that it was obvious, or was there some resistance there from people around you?
No, so it was so by that time it was in its 2nd year. It was growing pretty well at that point. And kind of the I guess the way I figured out with my parents was I have the option to take a gap year. So hey, if this doesn't work out after the year that I take off, then I can go back to college and automatic admission, no problem there. So that was kind of a big selling point for my parents. And so I skipped that year and it continued to grow. And then we actually started hiring people, and at that point it was growing so quickly that I was just like, okay, I don't college isn't even on my radar at this point. So if anyone is kind of struggling between like, do I go to college, do I start my business, I would definitely recommend seeing if your college lets you have a gap year. and seeing if when you come back after a year, if you're still able to get in automatically. If you get admitted to college, can you come back after a year? I think that's a really good option that not enough people are utilizing. Because again, going back to, I guess, backup plans, it's having a backup plan is fine. It just you got to know who you are and how you're best motivated. Are you motivated with a backup plan, or are you motivated more by burning the bridges and burning the boats, that sort of thing? So if you're trying to convince your parents, like, hey, I want to run this business, see if you can take a gap year, and then if you can, then what's to lose? I mean, you lose 1 year, but you've learned so much during that time frame. So definitely look into a gap year if just any listeners are out there that are trying to figure out what they want to do. I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Like for me personally, I made the deal with my mom. I said 1 semester because I hate school. I'm miserable in school. I do good in school. Like I've been taking college classes since I was a freshman. So clearly like I'm not the worst at it. It's just I hate it. So I said
no, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I was the same way.
So I told my mom 1 semester, if I'm miserable, I'm not doing another year and a half. There's no way you can make me do that. If my YouTube channel starts picking up, then I'm out then too. I'd probably need like 10,000 subscribers. Right now the goal is 1,000 by the end of the summer, which I think is achievable. And then because YouTube channels are known to skyrocket after they hit 1,000, like that's kind of the threshold you have to beat for the YouTube algorithm to take you seriously. So if that happens to me, then I'm out. Or if I get another business idea or a job opportunity. So basically, if I have any valid excuse to leave college, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, no, go for it. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, and so I'll see what happens. You're based out of Texas, you said?
Yep.
That's awesome. Where in Texas?
So like North Texas by the DFW area, about 40 minutes out of Dallas.
Texas
but Texas is really good for, I guess, the business environment. There's a lot of companies moving to Texas. Like I think Apple is moving a headquarters to, don't quote me on this, but to Austin. I think maybe Amazon is also moving there. Like a lot of people are moving to Texas just because it's very friendly on businesses and it doesn't have a state income tax and a lot of good business incentives and stuff. But that's a little bit more of the nitty gritty, but I like Texas for the business atmosphere.
Wait, you're telling me when a state has a bunch of really successful people and then they decide to implement socialism and tax the hell out of everyone, the people move to a state with less taxes? No, that doesn't happen.
That doesn't sound very practical. I don't think that's feasible.
That would prove like all of California's philosophy wrong. You can't say those things on the internet. Google is based in LA. That's gonna get me demonetized.
You better watch out, man.
Texas and Florida. So the 2 states. I'm in New Jersey. So it's like if California and New Jersey are like the states with heavy taxes. So we're taxed at it like crazy. I love where I live. Absolutely love where I live, but I would love to move to Texas or Florida. Weather, income tax, Texas for a lot of other reasons too. I just like Texas, although I haven't ever been there, so that might be useful to decide if
maybe you should visit.
Yeah, but from everything that I can see online, it looks interesting. I'm going down to Florida this next week to for my first time. That's not going to be like vacation-y, so I'm going to see how I like it then, and then potentially I could see myself moving down there. What about, do you like Texas? Would you advise moving there?
Yeah, so I was born in Miami, so I grew up around the beach, the ocean, and you can't beat that kind of atmosphere as far as like if I'm a Miami boy, I love the water.
That's
so moving to Texas where Jersey it's kind of a little bit more of a go ahead.
That's the atmosphere. I live in the Jersey Shore, so it's like the Florida Shore atmosphere, same exact thing in Jersey.
Yeah. So moving to Texas where I'm at, where it's basically very flat, no mountains, no nothing. It's kind of just geographically, it's not very pretty. But the people are super nice. So there's trade-offs, like super nice people, not so nice geography, but really good business environment. Whereas Miami, people are a little bit more, I guess, aggressive, but super nice environment. Trade-offs either way. I don't think there's a perfect place. But yeah, I mean, I want to move to Austin though. That's kind of where I want to head to
Hmm.
because there's a lot more stuff going on there. So
Hmm.
trade-offs for sure, but I like it a lot. I wouldn't. I've never been to California. I want to visit California, but I don't think I'd ever live there.
Yeah, yeah, that's about me too. Like I look at California, I'm like, oh no, I'd get in too many political debates. That wouldn't work out. And I don't think I could do like the LA lifestyle. California seems to it seems to be catching that European lifestyle vibe. Um, I can't I can't really go into a little bit of detail of that without going into a lot of detail. Um, but there's like a certain lifestyle in Europe where it's more laid back, and then I feel like California is catching that, and you can see that in a lot of ways, and I'm not really attracted to that, and hopefully it stays in California. um, yeah, so I don't. So you've got your business. I asked you about that. I asked you about how it works. We talked about college. These podcasts are hard for me to gauge because I have to do them very individually. It's
Hmm.
like I could talk to you, like I saw you posted Rich Dad Poor Dad. I could talk to you about finance and business and da 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 da. But my channel is geared towards high school students trying to like make the college decision and kind of interested in developing themselves. So it's where do I gauge where's that boundary?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered it. If you
Mhm.
need like a sound bite or something to make as like the headline, I'd say
Mhm.
something to the
Oh,
effect of
I can always find one, yeah.
I'd say something. The key takeaways of this are if you're struggling between the decision of, hey, I'm about to graduate high school, I want to test out a business, but my parents are kind of pressuring me to go to college. Try and use the option of a gap year to, I guess, alleviate some of that pressure from your parents, because a gap year, if you can take it and then go back to college after a year, but you've now given yourself a year to kind of pursue your dream and see where you're at. I mean, worst comes to worst, you go back to college and now you've either A, learned a lot, or B, now have the option to now you have something that's starting to grow. Maybe it's not providing full-time income for you right now, but now it's getting to the point where you're able to kind of have something that's growing, that's scaling, and then maybe 2 years into college then you drop out. Like that could be the option. So if you're looking for an option to convince your parents, I think that's one thing that's really helpful. And just kind of pursue what you want, but you got to be a go-getter. You got to actually put in the work. You got to learn. No one's going to give you the formula. Like if you're really motivated to make it work, you'll make it work.
Mhm.
You'll stay up late, you'll do schoolwork during the day, like you'll figure out a way to make it happen, and no one can really give you the pathway to success. You can give you kind of the blueprint of like, this is kind of worked for me, apply it to how it might work for you, but also you got to do the research, you got to have the drive to actually make it happen.
Mhm. Well put. A couple questions came to my mind. High school for you, what was that like? Because I have found that being an entrepreneur in high school, or just always starting things and speaking, I can tell by the way we're having this conversation that we probably are relatively similar human beings in real life, just conversationally. And I have gotten a lot of resistance from the current high school climate of just excuse this, excuse that, entitlement, and just all those feelings that are going around. Like I feel like all of Generation Z is in the middle of an existential crisis, and like I don't have the patience for it. What was that like for you in high school? Did you have a lot of friends? Was your business your main priority? You didn't really have any time to focus on that. Like where was that?
Yeah, so I mean, what again, going back to I guess immigrant parents, when you're a first generation American, education is like pushed very, very heavily. So my mom was completely on my case about you need to get good grades. So for the first like 2 years, I was top 20 in the class. So I was like really, really focused on school. Like my junior year, I almost had a mental breakdown because I started my business. I was like swim team captain. I was taking 6 AP classes and I was like doing a ton of other stuff. So I like every night I almost lost my mind. So kind of going back to where I was saying, like, if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. That's kind of where I'm getting that inspiration from because eventually, as the business grew, my grades did not grow. They went the opposite way. So, I mean, I don't know. It was definitely a balancing act for sure. I mean, the first 2 or 3 years like freshman, sophomore year, I was just trying to get by, take the AP classes. I was going to do the go to Texas A&M, get an engineering degree, become a management consultant, and then 20 years later start my business. Like that was my master plan. And then I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Like I wrote a little summary of that, and it completely shifted my worldview. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start a business now. Um, so then I started. A couple of things failed, a couple of things worked, and it kind of started growing. Then as that started growing, I put more time into that and less time into school, less time into like extras, and it really became kind of all consuming with that. And then also, fortunately, oh my 20% battery. Um, Fortunately, my senior year, we actually I was actually able to talk to the administration and figure out a way. So I was only doing half days every day. So I'd come to school until like 12:30, and then I would leave and go work on the business for hours and hours and hours up till all hours of the night. So I was almost working full time. I was working a lot of hours. I was probably working over full time, hours wise, senior year on my business, just because I was very fortunate to have a, a way to get my schedule that allowed me to do that. But yeah, my focus definitely started focusing more on the business and less on socializing and all that stuff. So it's a sacrifice you got to make. But if that's your passion and that's what you like to do, it doesn't really feel like a sacrifice because you're just so passionate about running your business.
Mm-hmm. I feel that the 6 AP classes, I did that. I did the it's crazy, but well, first off, if anyone is taking 6 AP classes right now, my biggest thing of advice is just stop stressing. Just if you remove the stress and you just focus on getting shit done, like it'll get there. If you fail a test, you're gonna be fine. Just focus on what you can do to maximize your whatever your goal is. But too many kids are like, oh my god, I got a 95. What? I can't handle that. You gotta gauge that a little bit. What you said that I thought was interesting with you talk to your school administration. I push every single one of my friends whenever they have an issue. I say, well, why don't you go to your guidance counselor? Well, why don't you talk to your teacher? Well, why don't you go to the principal? And they say, oh, my mom emailed the teacher. Like, I don't. And the second they say that, I'm on their case, and they just don't get it. And it's almost like that's just the way people are wired. Some people are gonna do it themselves. Some people are gonna have their parents do it. But when I went to my school administration, that's how I'm graduating with an associate's degree, because I went to my school administration and was like, I heard you have a program that wasn't open to my grade. It was open to the grade below me because it's a 4-year program. I was already a year in when they started it. So that doesn't work. I went to my administration, like every day, made it happen, got it to work. Now, because I've kept going to my administration, I've managed to get a teacher put into a class that I wanted to take because I wanted to take them again. Got them switched from biology to psychology just because I wanted to take them again. I got a teacher to keep a class because she was going to be removed from AP US History because she was too hard, even though everyone was just too lazy to put up with her, and she was training. Like I love that teacher. She trained me so well. So I got her another year there, and I got my senior year scheduled to be only one class, an hour a day, and then all online community college classes, and which is only 3 a semester, which are stupid easy and I can bang out in 2 hours a week. Like just going and asking, going to your administration and trying to work the system, just give them a big enough headache and they're going to do anything to make you go away. It's a bureaucracy, but nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. And they're also happy to help too. That's the other thing. Like they're very nice people. I mean, a lot of times you get a bad experience with them because they're dress coding you or all that sort of craziness that again, the bureaucracy that they kind of have to deal with. But if they see someone that's ambitious, that wants to say, hey, I'm starting my business, I'm trying to do this, can we figure out a way to make my schedule more open so that I can have more time to work on this? Like I remember when I went to the meetings with these people, I would bring in prototypes and I gave them prototypes to use on their, like I was doing the office chairs at that time. So I was like giving them prototypes of office chairs and, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is the project I'm working on. I'm trying to build this product. Can we figure out a way to make my schedule work so I can build this company? So, I mean, they're willing to work with you if you give them a reason to work with you. Instead of just saying, give me this, they'll be like, no. But if you give them a reason, like, hey, I'm actually trying to make something of myself, I'm trying to do this, like they're happy to help you. And just ask. All you gotta do is ask.
Yeah, like nobody becomes a guidance counselor or a teacher because they want to screw over their kids.
Yeah.
They're not doing it for the money, so they got to be doing it for something, and chances are it's you. So they're gonna be there for you. Sometimes it can take a little bit of convincing, but most of the time you can get there. I like the biggest examples for that I see are dual enrollment or work release. You're just finding some way to take less classes. I could imagine that Texas is a little bit less structured. New Jersey has a bunch of regulations on their school system, and that's nationwide to an extent, but just the way things play out, I know New Jersey is heavier on that. So sometimes I've run into the issue where I'm butting up against like a state law, and then it goes on to me to figure out a solution to the state law because they're not going to do it. But there's always a way. It's persistence is all it really is, and you'll get there. So I feel like I've hit all the marks with you. I'm personally curious in a couple of other things, but as for the podcast of what the high school students are going to be interested in, which as a high school student, if you are interested in heavier, more detailed things, let me know. I'm small enough to switch my niche, so
User feedback and adjust as needed.
Yeah, exactly. So let me know, but I try and keep these a little bit more general. The podcast for high school kids, but yeah, you seem, that's awesome. Like everything you're doing, I can't really be like, I like what you're doing, because of course you're 3 years older than me and you got a business that I don't have, but I like it. It was a good conversation. So I'm looking at you're this camera, I got another camera here for the podcast. If you guys have any questions for me or Philip, I have all of his information linked down below. You can DM him or me or whatever to ask any questions. And subscribe, hit the like button, all of that wonderful stuff. And if you made it to the end of this video, I will personally buy you a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've done that. I bought one kid a copy of the 7 Habits because he was like, oh, I made it to the end. I want a copy of the 7 Habits. I was like, all right, sounds good. I'll buy
That's dope.
Because of course this is gonna bite me when I'm gonna if I have 1 million subscribers in 3 years and 200,000 people, or it goes viral. Like at the end of this video 3 years ago, he said to message him and he'll buy you a book, and I was like, shit, now I gotta buy 3,000 books. But right now
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, right now I can afford buying 2 copies of a book at max, especially for a 40-minute YouTube video. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Peace. And yeah, I can just